So our next speaker, Shari Bryan. She's a water efficiency program manager at Ecology Action. She's got a long list of accomplishments working with public agencies. She is a co-founder of the Central Coast Greywater Alliance and Monterey Bay Friendly Landscaping Program. And she is the lead instructor and coordinator of the Monterey Bay Green Gardener Certification Program, which is awesome. And so without further ado, Shari, come on up and tell us about your project.
Okay. Good mid-morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here because for me it's a culmination of a dream turned into a physical reality. With a lot of my work, sometimes I get my best ideas when I'm sleeping at night. You know, I wake up in the morning, I'm like, we should go for that opportunity or something like that. So I'm about to tell you a story that the district invited me to tell. Oh, here we go. And it starts with a conference that I went to. It's called a Localizing California Waters Conference, where I happened to room with Santa Clara Valley Water District staff. Virginia O'Rourke, you might remember Virginia. So I had been approached by Ecology Action's Energy Division. Step back, Ecology Action makes most of our bread and butter from energy work. So we all pay on our PG&E bill a public goods fee, and that public goods fee goes to fund energy efficiency work in small businesses, mid-sized businesses, you name it, to institutions. So we actually get paid based on the kilowatt hours that we save. If we don't save energy, we don't get paid. Water doesn't work like that. Water doesn't have a public goods fee. We have to write grants to get projects in the nonprofit sector. So I'm at this conference with Virginia, and my energy division had just brought an opportunity for a Department of Water Resources water energy grant, a grant that would save hot water. And I'm from Bakersfield, and we use a lot of energy in the Central Valley, and I was trying to hit up all the water agencies in the valley because the spirit of the grant was to serve underserved communities in California. Save hot water. So I'm busy trying to work up the Central Valley and trying to get a good water agency partner for this opportunity. And Virginia says, well, what about the Santa Clara Valley Water District? We could partner with you on this. And so I was like, aha! Good to work with a neighbor. So the story I'm about to tell you about a turf retrofit project happens in the context of a $2.5 million grant that Ecology Action was awarded. And we partnered with the district to do these four things, which was go canvassing in underserved residential areas. We hit 5,000 homes and changed out just basic faucet aerators, shower heads, saving a ton of water there. We had a goal of about 4,000 commercial restaurants where we're swapping out their pre-rinse spray valves. We hit actually 2,000 commercial facilities, food service facilities, and this is all of Santa Clara County, so not just any one retailer, but the whole district-wide. We put in 50,000 square feet of turf replacement into the grant, working in underserved communities that wouldn't have the money to contract with Gachina. Institutional facilities like schools and libraries and civic government landscapes. And then we also did some ozone laundry projects, which actually take hot water, which you have to use heat up to about 180 degrees to sanitize laundry, and replace it with ozone disinfectant to kill bacteria in commercial facilities. So, on to the turf. The first step in figuring out where we were going to convert 50,000 square feet of turf was to contact the various school districts. We really wanted to work with schools because we see a lot of non-functional turf areas in schools that kids aren't playing on, and schools spend money on this water. It's a big deal. Money that could be put into other programs. And so I reached out to Eastside Unified High School District, or Eastside Union High School District, I should say. And is Roger in the room? Roger Silvera? All right. Well, I reached out to Julio Lucas. He's the facilities director of Eastside Union High. And I told him about the project. And the first thing he said was, I have the perfect project for this. There is this school called Yerba Buena High School that is on the east side. It's kind of right by the 280 and 680 intersection. And this is Guadalupe Creek running through here. And they have this project and they're calling it the Terra Project, and I want you to go take a look. So this was the project site that I first saw. This is about a quarter of an acre of turf grass at the back of a parking lot that was being irrigated. For what? For looks. So it was perfect, and so we started to get into more detail about what the plans for the site was. I met Tom Wynn from the principal at this school, and I explained to him about how this whole thing worked. So we get funding from the Department of Water Resources and what's called the California Climate Investments, the Cap and Trade program. I explained to him that this program is actually funded by AB 32. And so the district, Santa Clara Valley Water District, is going to pay for half of it, and this grant is going to pay for the other half. And in order to make this work, we really need the facilities people to be on board with helping us identify infrastructure and that kind of thing. And so he's like, this is great. We've been waiting for you to come. Let me show you what we're doing. And by the way, I was able to throw turf projects into this grant, even though they use cold water, because the district has done a lot of work in understanding the energy use connected to its water supply. You know, the district imports about 52% of water from the Delta and then pumps with groundwater. So they have a really great report called Watts to Water. If you guys want to nerd out on the energy use associated with water, we were able to put these projects in because there's an embedded energy in the water that we pump out of the ground and import from the Delta. So we can actually say how much greenhouse gases we save by saving water. There's an energy benefit to it too. All right, moving right along. Before I go any further, I just want to give a shout out to the Conservation Corps. The Conservation Corps is a key partner in these turf conversion projects. This is the Monterey Bay Central Coast version of the Corps. They're based out of the Watsonville area, and they work from up here in Santa Clara Valley all the way down to Big Sur. This is a project, another one that we did in front of Independence High, where it was before they started their work day. I had to get them in front of the flag. It was a crystal clear day, so shout out to the Corps. We couldn't do it without them. So back to Yerba Buena. So our project budget is pretty slim. We get $2 a square foot from Santa Clara Valley Water District. We have $2 a square foot from DWR. That's the Department of Water Resources. We have to do all these projects on less than $4 a square foot. That means I have $1 per square foot for materials. I have $1 per square foot for landscape architecture and project management time. And I have about $2 a square foot for labor. And that's it. So you have to be really creative to be able to pull it off. And bring in a lot of resources. So the Conservation Corps is able to be our labor source for these projects because they're mandated by the state of California to work on drought resilience and drought conservation, but they can only work in public institutions. They can't do private projects. So what we try to do is, like I said, not compete with the private industry, but go into places where they can't afford to hire a contractor and execute these projects with young people who are getting job skills out of it. So here's our site. We're zeroing in from the 30,000 foot level going in. That's about a quarter of an acre. This is the future home of the Terra Project, which stands for Teaching Environmentally Responsible and Respectful Attitudes. The kids made that up. The kids these days. So a quarter of an acre, non-functional turf. Here we are at the back of the parking lot. What are we gonna do with it? Well, they already had a plan. We only tackled about a quarter of an acre with our particular project, because these kids had a plan to make a garden. They had a plan to make an aquaponic system. They had a plan to build windmills and have solar energy. They had all kinds of great plans, and this is all coming from the kids, okay? So I'm showing up with this pot of money, and they've already got all these, they're building on SketchUp. They're working on design and construction of fences and how they want to transform this area. And we took on the piece of the project, which was just converting turf to drought-tolerant landscaping. So the district won't rebate vegetable gardens because they're a higher water use activity. But we were able to use this funding to help them with making it beautiful at the entrance and providing a sense of place when you got into the project. So the construction class at Yerba Buena designed the fencing. The AVID class at Yerba Buena, which is a college prep class for first-generation college students, they designed the gardens, and everybody had a piece of the comments when it came to the landscape design. So Stephanie Morris was our landscape architect on this project, and she tried hard to get straight pathways, but they wanted them curved. They regret that when they're hauling things in wheelbarrows now, but you can see, does this have a pointer? Let's see here. I don't know, I'm scared to use it. So back in the corner, that's where the windmills go, the solar aquaponic system, and then the garden is that blank area that you see. Now, our city forest came in, and they did the fruit tree planting. And so here's the garden under construction. This is the vegetable garden. The principal built the compost bin himself, which was pretty impressive. And here it is from another view. They have chickens. The AVID class actually is responsible for the chickens in the project. They sell the eggs to all the instructors, so they're learning entrepreneurial skills as well. So they sell the eggs to get the feed for the chickens, and it all breaks even. So here's the rotors we took out with the eggs that they're collecting. We also use bay-friendly practices. We are totally committed to using recycled content materials and not burning more greenhouse gases to haul good soil to the landfill. So this is the Conservation Corps doing the edging for the sheet mulching. You can see that the trees have already gone in thanks to our city forest. We decided, because this site was actually on recycled water, that we were going to use recycled water for the exterior outside of the fence and potable water for the inside. So this is, part of the process. We come the first day, we edge, and we adapt the existing irrigation infrastructure for drip irrigation. We find a lot of leaks. The system's old. It's been there forever, so we take old rusty galvanized pipes out, and we just convert. We use the existing risers for the rotors. We cap some, we leave others for the conversion, because these are big areas. So this is the school district helping us. This was this picture that you see on the right is where the old irrigation valves were. So we revalved the areas on the outside of the fence for recycled water and irrigated the fruit trees with recycled, and on the inside we use potable. So we created permeable pathways, and the school's called Yerba Buena, so they really wanted the plant Yerba Buena in the landscape design. So Stephanie obliged them, even though this is not the appropriate site for Yerba Buena. It's a woodland plant. It's like full sun exposure. So we tried to put it in there. We actually got a lot of things donated. This little Hunter node controller with the solar panel was donated actually by Wyatt Irrigation up in Santa Rosa, because I happened to be getting supplies up there visiting my family. I told them about the project, and they gave me a free controller. So thank you, Wyatt. Here's what it looks like on the outside, completed planting, and here's what it looks like on the inside. So this just went in the ground a few months ago, and it's doing good. So we estimate that we have about 238,000 gallons a year of water savings, and if you figure that the landscape has a 20-year life. This is 14.6 acre feet over 20 years. And then quantifying the greenhouse gas reductions, we've got 9.2 metric tons of carbon dioxide from reduced maintenance and mowing and that kind of thing. So challenges, they want to talk about challenges. Our Conservation Corps crew had a lot of fires to work with. The state of California prioritizes our labor source for fighting fires. And so these poor guys, they'd go on spike. And they'd be up there in Northern California or Southern California working with our fire crew for days at a time. And then they'd come back to work with us, not having any break, 10 to 12-hour days. And they just did an outstanding job. These young people are incredible, and they are so happy to come back to civilization and work on landscape projects. It was like a walk in the park. Stephanie Morris, our architect, she'd go get them donuts, and they were just so happy to be doing this kind of manual labor. So just shout out to them. That was actually a logistical challenge, though, right? When you use a labor source you have a mulch delivery schedule, there's going to be 100 cubic yards of mulch dropped on your site, and sorry, they're still fighting fires, we can't be there. So, those kinds of challenges come up with working with the Conservation Corps. Another challenge is that we had to create some kind of stairway up to the project area, and we have another area that's ADA accessible because this is a school. And how do we keep within budget and build this hardscaping, right? So Stephanie Morris helped us come up with this beautiful design, a permeable stairway where we didn't even have electricity on site. We can't cut any timbers or, we don't have an outlet. So we had timbers pre-cut. We had a battery charger in the pool room. We did, we used this is a picture of Tom Wynn and one of the Corps crews putting it all together. So we were able to actually build this stairway for a materials cost of less than $1,000. So that was a great solution. We're very proud of this work. It's just one of 6 projects that we did with the district, and kind of the culmination of it was when the Santa Clara Valley Water District did a press release because it really honored the kids' work, and the kids' vision in bringing this to fruition. And it's probably one of the best projects I've ever done with the most impact for future generations. So thank you for the opportunity to share.